Good morning or good afternoon, depending on the time of day that you are watching this video. This week, we're going to be talking about identity theft. So it's a little different than what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks. So for the last 2 weeks, we've mainly been talking about doing budgets, personal goals, financial goals, professional goals, tying into long term, short term, and intermediate. But this week, we're going to go a step higher. We're going to talk about identity theft. What is it, how to protect yourself, and what to do if it strikes you. This week, we won't have a full PowerPoint dedicated to identity theft, but I'm going to have you read several articles that covers all the information that I want you all to get. And I picked articles that are prevalent to today, because this is a big issue in today's society. Not only with credit card, personal identity theft, but data breaches in major corporations. So this is a big deal in today's society. So what we're planning on doing this week is going to be mainly articles that we will be reading, and it will be telling you all about how identity theft can affect you and your loved ones. And if it affects you, how it can then go back, those goals that you have planned or those goals that you want to reach, how it can throw all of those completely off because basically your identity has been stolen. Basically, with identity theft, someone hacks into your account. Mainly, all they need is personal information about you, and definitely, if they can get your social security number, then they can go and open up credit cards in your name. But the most common is credit card, or if someone gets your debit card information, they can go and open accounts in your name. And most prevalent, the one that we see today is definitely credit card and debit card information. That's usually where you're seeing it. It can come in the form of emails, phone calls, because as you all probably have had, you get phone calls and it lets you know that this is a potential scam. So all of this is extremely important to learn in today's society. So for example, one of the latest identity theft scams was back when the stimulus checks began to go out. So when the coronavirus first hit and they did the stimulus checks, so before the stimulus checks even went out, it was a scam out there basically telling people that, the checks were coming and you need to let them know when your check came and the amount and give them your bank account information, and they would direct deposit the check into your account. And basically once they get your account information, then they can go and open other accounts. So that was a major scam. We also see with elderly individuals the Social Security scam, and also we see prevalent at gas stations. That's another big scam that's going on. So when you use your debit or credit card when you're purchasing gas, and the card reader, people have been putting faulty card readers in and basically getting your account information. As soon as they get that account information, they can go and create other accounts or purchase things. So this is a topic we haven't covered in the past, but I felt that it was necessary this semester. We would hit at it, but I thought it was necessary for us to cover this information. So I'm going to go over some articles with you. And I want you all to read the articles. I will provide you the links for the articles. They will be on LMS. So I want you all to really take in these articles and read them, because they will break down more than I can even break down what identity theft is, because this is a vast topic. And I didn't want to do a PowerPoint because it would be so vast, and trying to narrow everything down, it was just no way I could narrow all of it down. So I try to pick some key facts for you all to know about identity theft, and basically your assignment for this week will coincide with this, but that will be in another video. But this week we're mainly focusing on identity theft, what it is, how to protect yourself. That's the main thing. How will you protect yourself during identity theft, and what to do if it strikes you? Okay, so the first article we're going to look at for this series is Identity Theft in a Digital Age. detect, and defend. Those are the three things we need to focus on: how to deter it, how to defect it, and how to defend it. So I want you all to read this article. This is a very detailed, insightful article. It basically tells you what the three D's of identity theft is. So we look at deter, we look at detect, and we look at defend. So when we're looking at deter, excuse me, is to prevent something. You want to prevent identity theft from happening in the first place by being aware of your financial picture and following these suggested tips. So for you to be aware of your financial picture, they suggest that you avoid carrying all of your debit, credit cards, and IDs in one place at one time. We all make that mistake because we all carry it. I know for me myself, in my wallet, that's all I have. I have nothing but my debit card, credit cards, and my driver's license. I have just about all of my credit cards in my wallet. So if I'm happen to lose my wallet, I've lost all my credit cards, debit card, everything. So it's easy for someone to have access to all of my accounts. Always be aware of your surroundings at ATM. I know when I attended South Carolina State, that was the first thing that they told us as freshmen. Do not go to the ATM by yourself. Always go in a pair or at least four people. You never want to go by yourself. So always be aware of your surroundings at ATM because that's dealing with money. And some people I have known and heard stories where people, you get robbed at the ATM. The next one, if you have any rental agreements, like after you rent a car or anything, important documents, after you finish the transaction, and if you do not need those documents, make sure you destroy them. Shred them up. Don't just throw them in the trash or the garbage. You always want to, after years when you see you don't need those documents anymore, you always want to shred them because they have personal information on those accounts. So like account numbers, driver's license numbers, you want to make sure that you shred those and get rid of them. You also want to store your personal information carefully in your home. You want it to be where no one can get access to it but you. So some people have like a lockbox or a personal safe, but you always want to keep that stuff in one location, but not just out where anyone can just pick up your information and do what they want with it. Because if you have a lot of people in and out your house, you never know who can just go pick up the information and create and open up accounts in your name. The next one, like I just said, shred whatever documents that are not worth keeping. So, for instance, once you with credit cards, you get a new credit card. Don't just throw the old one away. You want to shred those credit cards. Any documents, especially that has social security numbers, your account numbers, your birthday, personal information that someone can use to put all that together to create an account in your name, you want to shred all of those documents. You just don't want to throw them away. You want to review your bank and credit card statements all the time. And I encourage you to do that. I was a victim of identity theft twice. Once, as a junior at South Carolina State, I went to McDonald's and someone was able to hack into my account. And I think that particular time, they spent about $350 at McDonald's on food. And I went to McDonald's one night, and maybe like 2 days later, my bank called me and told me about the transaction. So I was able to catch it before it happened. Um, I'm trying to, and another time, I would probably say I was a victim probably twice. I was thinking three, but it was twice. My second time it happened, when sometimes when I used to get my credit card statements, I would just look at what I wouldn't really focus on what the balance was. I kind of had a ballpark picture in my head. I would just look at how much the payment was, and I would just throw it away. And so one day when I was going to the beach and I was getting ready to use my credit card, it told me that my card was declined. And I was trying to figure out why did the card decline. And the main reason when I went back and looked at my statements, someone maxed out a credit card that I had. And I believe it was, if I remember what the bank told me, it was at Dunkin' Donuts. They maxed out a card at Dunkin' Donuts buying donuts, and then they did a shopping spree after that. And it maxed the card completely out. And that actually happened. I'm gonna say, if I can remember everything, I know it was 2 or 3 months before I even noticed it. And so I had to go and call the bank, my credit card company. I had to do paperwork to prove that it wasn't me. I had to go through so much, and it took almost 6 months to get that cleared up. So definitely always make sure you are aware of your credit card statements. Always look at them. I encourage you, because that is how I made the biggest mistake, and I paid for it. But luckily, I was able to get everything back. But always review your credit card statements and your bank statements. Review your annual earnings statement. So once you all start working, you want to review those. So that's your paycheck stub that you get from your employer, with how much taxes are coming out, Social Security, all that kind of stuff. You always want to review those as well. And then usually now you don't have to sign up for it, but if not, sign up for the National Do Not Call. That's so you cannot get those telemarketer calls. That is supposed to help prevent you getting all of those calls, are those what we call robocalls. So now you want to detect, and the thing about detecting, you have to be on it. So you always have to be in your financial situation, so you won't be in the dark. You always have to know what is going on. So when you see something look strange on your bank statements, your credit cards, that's when you start paying attention. That's when you go and start looking and making sure everything is the way that it's supposed to be. And you want to do that sooner than later. Because if you just wait and let it pile up, or you don't really pay attention to it, it'll be harder for you to fix in the future. If you can get a handle on it at the very beginning, it'll be easier for you to correct the situation. And in the defend, you have to the first thing that they suggest that you do is contact any of these three credit bureaus. That's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Those three credit bureaus help you keep track of what your credit is looking like. So they have your credit report, which we will get into this semester as well. What goes on a credit report, what is currently on your credit report, and how can you put when and how you can pull your credit report. So you always want to be aware of what is on your credit report, so you will know what is going on, because it will show you sometimes some of these activities as well. But I want you all to read this article in detail. I just hit at key points that I wanted to tell you all. And this article is mainly focusing in the digital age, because everything now is done over the web. How you pay your bills, everything. So we are more exposed than if it was maybe like, I'm gonna say about 10 years ago. Everything is more exposed now. The second article that I want you all to look at is the latest ways identity thieves are targeting you and what to do if you are a victim. This article was published in early 2020, so it was back in February, but I want you all to read this article. Part of this article is where your homework assignment will come from, which will be your YouTube video for the week. So this will be your YouTube video for the week. You will read this article, and just like we did on the last video, you're going to read the article, summarize it, and tell me your thoughts on it, and what do you feel would be a good way for you to prevent yourself from falling victim to identity theft. So that's what you will do for your YouTube video. And I will be telling you in the next section of this video what you will be doing for your assignment for the week. But I will provide you the two links for these two articles, and I want you to go back and read both of these articles in detail. But this article will be the one that you will use for your YouTube video this week. Okay, so for your assignment for this week, I want you all to think creatively. You're going to be creative. This assignment is a little more relaxed than the last two assignments we have. So I want you all to think being creative with this assignment. So you're going to create a PSA, a public service announcement, or a television commercial on identity theft and the importance of protecting yourself, and steps that you can use to protect yourselves and others. If you do a public service announcement or a TV commercial, it must be between 1 to 3 minutes in length. That's if you do the video. Or you can do a flyer or a brochure. Now, let's get into the details of it. If you do a video, you would do it the same way that you do your weekly videos. I would advise you to upload it to YouTube and then just send me the link in a Microsoft Word document, LMS, on your coursework section. If you do a flyer or brochure, I want you to be creative with it. Do not just give me a standard by night template. I want you to make this your own. Be creative with it. Do not just take information from the internet and just copy and paste. If you copy and paste, I will be able to tell. If you copy and paste your information, it will result in a 0. It's not going to be a 60, it will be a flat out 0. I want you to take the information from the articles. Um, you can also pull stuff from Google Scholar. I would advise you use Google Scholar um, to get the information that you need. Those articles will have plenty of information that you need, and then watch videos. I want you to be creative in this process. Don't just give me anything that you just threw together. I want you to be creative. Think about it. It will I want you to go beyond what you did in your icebreaker. So if your icebreaker was safe, which means if you got anything from a 70 to 80, it was safe. I want you to push to the next level. I want you to really think about this assignment, but this is what you will be doing this week. You're going to create a public service announcement or a television commercial. Remember, if you do it that way, the video needs to be 1 to 3 minutes in length. Or you can do a flyer or a brochure explaining and covering the same steps, but please be creative with it. That is what I am looking for this week. I'm looking at how you can follow directions and be creative. I'm looking for your creative side in this. If you have any questions, email me and then we can go from there. But this is an assignment I want you to be creative, and I can't stress that enough. So this will be the assignment that you will have to do this week. And again, like all assignments, it'll be due Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I want you all to have fun with this assignment. I want you to really enjoy putting this together. I want you all to really go all out for this. So this is your assignment for this week.